not prepared!
Welcome to another top 5 with Kris 05, guys. Today I'm gonna give you the best performing decks after the mini set Onyxia's Lair. So far it does seem like the meta has shaken up a bit, and in this video you will see all of the best performing decks with the new cards included. Hope you enjoy the video, and if you appreciate what I do for you guys, a like and a subscribe would really mean a lot, like seriously, it's all it takes. Now let's check out the decks. The first deck on the list is obviously gonna be Druid. Druid is really taking the meta by storm, and Kazakusan is proving to be actually a pretty OP card. Being able to play him as soon as Tier 4 can really be a game changer, and the card might actually be in for a nerf soon. By the way, if anybody hasn't decided if they want to be buying the mini set yet, I can guarantee you it's always gonna be worth it to spend 2000 gold for all of those good cards. Not only are they usable and gonna be sticking around for a whole nother year, but also anything that gets nerfed is gonna give you a huge amount of dust return, so make sure to get that mini set in time. Anyway, like I said, Kazakusan definitely is an OP card, and the whole deck basically revolves around it. The whole point of the deck is to be able to play Kazakusan as early as you can, and after that the treasures do their job. We have a ton of ramp and mana cheat with Innervates, Lightning Blooms, a Wild Growth, as well as Overgrowth and Guff, and the rest is basically card draw and survival tools. We also have the new Scale of Onyxia, which is an excellent card for you to be stabilizing the board early on. We also have Best in Shell, which can be a couple of tons or just a tradable, and you have a very reliable way of actually finding Kazakusan with Capture Cold Tooth Mine. That is probably the main reason why this deck is not running Cenarian Ward, because you want to be absolutely guaranteeing that you are going to be drawing Kazakusan through the Capture Cold Tooth Mine. If that's not enough, you also have Resizing Pouch, which can actually still give you Yaxaran for you to scam some wins if you've played Guff beforehand. You can also get extra Kazakusan with Moonlit Guidance. So yeah, the deck is pretty potent and the scam potential is pretty high. It's obviously too early to be speaking about nerf potential, but I really think Kazakusan is in the danger zone, so if you're missing too many of the other cards, it might not be such a great idea for you. Mulligan wise, you basically want ramp, mana cheat, and Kazakusan, or a way to get him. Kazakusan himself would be better than Capture Cold Tooth Mine because you get to have him without spending 2 mana, and depending on the matchup, you also might want to be keeping Lunar Eclipse so you can remove something early on. Before we get into the next deck, let me feed my cat real quick. Cat food is expensive, so before we get into the next deck, I would like to say a huge thank you to today's video's sponsor, GEMSTONE Legends. Right now would be a great time for you to start playing this cool new RPG puzzle game, because right now they will be having a great contest for new players, where you can win an iPhone 13 Pro or a Samsung Galaxy 21 Plus. Also, each day you can win a $50 gift card for the Apple Store or for the Google Play Store, for making the largest progress since the last day, and you can even use those gift cards to buy stuff in Hearthstone too if you wish. You can check out the links in the description to get more information about the contest. GEMSTONE Legends is a color-matched puzzle game where you get to match colors in lines or diagonally, but you should also pay attention to what opponents you're playing against, so you can get bonus damage from different colors. You have 3 turns to match colors before those take effect, which makes for some pretty cool ways for you to manipulate the board for some huge combos. There are dozens of different characters and tons of artifacts to upgrade them with, and you can fight other players or raid bosses or other PvE encounters. Don't just take my word for it, the game reviews speak for themselves. So the game must really be that good. You can find me in-game under the name Kris05, and if you use my code to download the game, you also get $50 worth of prizes in-game, including Morelia, which is a powerful healer which is gonna help you in your journey. All you have to do is download the game through my code and finish the tutorial, and you will get all of those cool prizes. The contest for new players starts on February 19th, so download the game today and get ahead of the competition. Alright, now let's check out the next deck, which is Quest Hunter. Quest Hunter was a decent archetype before the mini set, but now it actually received some pretty good support, with the addition of Dragonbane Shot and Furious Howl. Both of these cards make a lot of sense in this deck, where Dragonbane gives you extra quest progression with the same card, even though it does look a bit pricey and the effect is not that amazing. And also Furious Howl, worst case scenario, draws you a single card for 2 mana, which we know Hunter has a problem with, but also this could be amazing for after the quest completion, because you do find yourself with 0 cards a lot of the times after that. We're also running Barakotobane in here, which always is gonna be drawing you Aim Shot if you still have it in the deck, which is your only 3 mana spell, but the 2-drop and 1-drop spells are a lot more diluted. We basically have all of the good cheap damaging spells, And we also have Wand Maker to discover extra cheap spells, as well as Venomous Scorpid. You are running Explosive Trap in here because that also counts as a damaging spell, so if you see a Quest Hunter play a secret against you, it's most probably Explosive Trap. But we also have Ringling Rifle, which can find you another Explosive Trap for instance, or Ice Trap, which proves to be a very good secret to have. Mulligan wise, we don't have that much stats, but obviously you will wanna be keeping your cheap, good spells so you can get that quest progression faster. I do believe Barracoda Bay makes a lot of sense as well, Wand Maker and the Scorpid are okay too, but do not be keeping cards like Tracking and Furious Howl, because you want to be playing those when you've already completed the quest, so you can reset your hero power a lot more easier. The deck is not too expensive and it only has 3 legendaries in here, so if you have most of it, it might be a good idea for you to check it out. But if you also still have Face Hunter, that is actually doing pretty well in this new meta, so you can keep spamming that too. Moving down to the next deck, Quest Rogue. Quest Rogue was the first deck I played in the new mini set, and it proved to be doing pretty well with the new support with SI7 Smuggler. This version is actually not running Scabs, Edwin, and Mr. Smite, and honestly I felt like cutting those when playing the deck myself, because the games just didn't last that long, and they felt like pretty chunky cards to have, whereas nowadays you just want to complete the quest quick and start smashing them with your big lads. We have a couple of Cult Neophytes in here, which make a lot of sense against Ram Druids, Spell Druids, and Quest Hunters. And we also have Foxy Shroud, so you can have an easier time of comboing cards like Swindle, SI Agent, and also Assassin. You also have Tenwu, so you can bounce more SI cards for faster quest completion. Smuggler feels amazing, and you can actually tempo with him nice and early. You also have Scabs in here, which can be a pretty good tempo play for you, especially out of a secret passage for instance, but you actually have to have plenty of mana to pull that one off. But yeah, the rest is basically same old Quest Rogue. Mulligan wise, you want to be keeping your good cheap SI cards, and if you already have something like a Skulker, let's say, Shadow Step becomes pretty amazing too. Extortion is also an okay keep, especially against boar-centric matchups. Cult Neophyte might be okay, and honestly Cutlass is not that bad either, even though you don't have that many spells you want to be discounting with it. Scabs would be an excellent keep if you're going second, so you can have the coin so you can easily combo him as soon as turn 3, but if you're going first, you definitely do not want to be keeping Cutter Butter. All in all, the deck is not too expensive, and you can actually run it without Tenwu and without Scab's Cutter Butter, so you can go down to only the quest as your legendary. And it only has 2 epics too, so yeah, it's pretty cheap and it's actually pretty decent, so go for it. On the number 4 spot, we have Control Dragon Warrior. Warrior actually received a couple of really strong Drakes, which is basically a 4-mana 4/5 Taunt Dragon that also has a Shield Slam attached to it, which is pretty OP. The deck is entirely made of armor gain and control tools, and a couple of dragons basically, with Kazakusan at the top. Your win conditions are basically either demoralize aggro decks, or try to pull off the win with Kazakusan against anything else. You will definitely be very depressing against aggro decks, because your entire deck is just meant to punish those. And with Kazakusan, that is a huge win condition for you, because you get tons of value with it. It's a really hard deck to play against because it literally has every kind of removal there is. You have Rancors, Brawls, Bladestorms, Minefields, Provoke, so literally anything your opponent does, you have the tool to deal with it. It all comes down to if you already have it in your hand or you haven't drawn it yet. You also have a good amount of card draw with Outrider's Axe, and Bulwark of Azinoth can be a very good protection against some OTKs as well. For the mulligan, I really don't know what to tell you. You basically keep the removal you will be needing against a certain matchup. And also I think Kazakusan and the Onyxian Drake also will be making the cut a lot of the time. This is another not very expensive deck, with only 3 legendaries in here, and you have the new buff Trokara, which gives you 10 armor nowadays. So yeah, if you're into the slow playstyle and you're seeing a lot of aggro, this might be the deck for you. Speaking of slow, here's Control Priest, which is actually killing it in top 1000 Legend, and is doing okay from Diamond to Legend as well. It is yet another Kazakusan deck, and we also have the Lightmaw Nether Drake too, as well as the Horn of Rathian, so the deck definitely received a lot of new cool tools. This is basically Priest's version of the Control Warrior deck, because it literally only runs card draw, removal, healing, and Kazakusan. So yeah, again, the game plan is to survive long enough for Kazakus to steal the win. Mulligan wise, you want to keep Insight so you can draw Kazakusan, and maybe you can draw him cheaper with corrupting this Insight. Horn of Rathian can also be pretty good for you, and that way you get to draw the Nether Drake, Palm Reading is okay, and yeah, depending on the matchup you keep the proper removals. Yet another pretty cheap deck, so you can can definitely not complain that the game is too expensive right now, can ya? And the last bonus deck on the list, on the number 6 spot, is gonna be Big Spell Mage, which received the Drakefire Amulet. And that is basically the only new card in the Big Spell Mage archetype. I'm not sure how much Drakefire Amulet actually fits into this deck, and you can see it's one of the worst performing cards when drawn win rate. But yeah, people are experimenting with it so far, and the deck has positive win rate, so it's still winning, I don't think because of it, but despite of it. Anyway, the mulligan is basically the same as it used to be with this deck. You still want your Wildfire, your Shivering Sorceress, Deep Water Evoker makes sense, Fire Sale is gonna be good against certain matchups, Reckless Apprentice as well, Amplified Snow Flurry, and so on and so forth. This one has 4 legendaries in it, so there's that. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this meta report for the new decks, and let me know in the comments what's your favorite deck so far. Don't forget to download Gemstone Legends and enter their cool contest. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.